First time I've held the mic in like 2.5 weeks.
Oh, shit. What were you doing? Wait, you were there for Christmas.
Yeah, we got there. We left the 22nd of December.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
We drove up there. We stopped in South Carolina for 2 days. My aunt has an apartment on Hilton Head Island.
And is that something fancy?
Yeah. But she has just like a very, very, it's a very modest 14 bedroom, 15 bathroom. No, she has it's a regular like 2 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment.
Yeah.
But it's like right on the beach, which is really cool. And we stayed there for a couple of days, and then we drove the rest of the way up to Vermont. I don't think I've ever consumed so much caffeine in my fucking life. That was incredible.
Just on that drive?
Yeah. So, yeah. I probably had like 15 Red Bulls.
Whoa. I've had caffeine problems for sure.
Yeah.
Back when I was working pizza delivery, there was a day I drank, there's this energy drink called Venom. Kind of shitty, like one you'd see at the bottom shelf at like the shittiest gas station.
Yeah.
I would drink sometimes 6 during a shift.
Jesus Christ, dude. Holy fuck. I was like that when I worked at the vitamin shop. I worked at the vitamin shop for 3 years, and they sold an energy drink called Spiked, and it was in a very like small can, and it was 400 milligrams of caffeine, and I think 60 milligrams of yohimbe. And yohimbe is an extract from a bark that medicinally is used in a veterinary setting to wake horses up from anesthesia.
Wow.
Because it like gets the heart going and like gets them good. But if you just take it regularly, it just gets you like going.
Damn.
And I used to drink like 1 or 2. It was like a panic attack in a can. You would just be like shaking and shit. And I was doing like Adderall at the time too.
Oh,
like
shit,
yeah, I had like a 3-year period where I did like a fuckload of Adderall. I don't know how I didn't have a heart attack.
Yeah, that's quite the concoction.
Yeah, caffeine, Adderall in the morning, weed all day, and then alcohol at night.
Fuck yeah, that's the whole day right there.
Yeah. There are parts of me where like I kind of wish I had started doing comedy when I was really fucked up on drugs and alcohol, because I feel like it could have been kind of magical a little bit.
Just see what would happen.
Just ripping lines of Adderall, like sitting on the back, like sitting backwards on a toilet in like a comedy club, just ripping a line like as you hear your name coming to the stage, just walking out. What's up, everybody? You know, I kind of wish that, but now it's like I might have like 2 beers like before I go. Sometimes I might do that at like an open mic or something. But there is a part of me that's like, what if I was doing comedy on acid all the time?
That'd make for interesting material.
I did that once.
Acid and comedy?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I was at the Iberian Rooster, downtown St. Pete.
Yeah.
I took about a quarter tab of acid before I went on stage, and it was I was wearing plaid shorts, so I already looked like an asshole, which didn't help at all. But I hated it. I thought it was gonna make me all creative and shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna think of the most brilliant things when I'm on stage, and I just felt like a fish in a fish tank.
Oh,
it felt really weird, like looking out at everybody. It felt so strange. I didn't like it.
Something about having intentions with psychedelics never works out. Like if you're, I don't know, for me, it's like, oh, I'm gonna take this and then do this. And it just, having a plan fucks up the plan.
Yeah. I've never been good with setting intentions with like psychedelic trips, whether it's like an introspective intention of like I want to get to the root of something inside of me.
Oh yeah.
Or a creative intention. It just never works out that way. I don't know why. I've always never been good at like planning things either. I think that's like one of my big like problems. I'm not good at planning things. I just like living. I just like living day to day, and it's got me this far. I'm a billionaire, so it's
fucking killing it.
Yeah, dude, and a lot of people to get to where I am. I'm a diamond miner, so I had to kill a lot of people in Chad.
I mean, it shows you're not living in the poor part of Lakeland.
No, dude, this is the upscale part of Lakeland, dude. Look at all these 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms, man.
Oh yeah.
This is the nice part of town.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is awkward, but I gotta change my shirt to get one of my fucking branded shirts on. Hey, I grabbed the one I wanted to. I'll be right back.
Please.
It's all about selling the merch.
Stupid fucking capitalism, dude. Fucking sucks. That's probably like the biggest internal battle I have with myself is like hating the system, but also I can't change a fucking thing about it, so you have to conform to it or be homeless.
And here's the thought I have all the time: it's everything I want, like making money off of art, would not be possible without the system.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, we'd be bards at best.
What's a bard?
Like a minstrel, kind of, like traveling around, performing in inns and taverns.
Yeah, I guess this system is this economic system is one of the few we've developed so far that's allowed artists to become extremely profitable. At least like a select few of them to become extremely profitable off of what they do. But there's also, I've noticed this with stand-up comedy, there is like this sort of middle tier ecosystem of like, club headliners who aren't, who are maybe pulling in like mid to high 5 figures, maybe low 6, and making a great living as like a club headliner. Because that sounds amazing, doesn't it?
I'd be more than happy with that.
Me too. Oh my God.
Do what I want and make close to 6 figures. That would be incredible.
Oh, dude.
Even half of that. I'd take half of that.
Oh my God.
In a heartbeat. A quarter of that.
I make 27 grand net a year now. And if I could make that doing stand-up, hell yes.
Yep.
Hell yes. I would love that. Because I have very minimal material aspirations. Like, I'll drive Hondas for the rest of my life.
Hell yeah, Kia Rio.
Hell yeah, dude.
I might splurge for a hybrid next vehicle I get.
Ooh.
I don't want to spend that much on a vehicle, but I can't afford an electric.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah, Tesla's too expensive. Their stock's pretty affordable right now, but
have they been taking hits?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, I know nothing about the stock market, but I assume every time Elon says something, it just goes down.
They went from the end of mid last year, it was like $350. Now it's $110. So it went down. It's gone down a lot in the last 6-7 months. I day trade all the time, so I'm obsessed with that finance news and like stocks and shit.
Did you get into NFTs at all?
No.
Good thing.
No, I never got into NFTs.
I read some, fucking eye-catching headline on some Facebook article. It was about Justin Bieber bought some NFT for like 1.6 million, and now it's worth like 60-something thousand.
Sure. That sounds about right.
That makes me so happy.
That sounds about right.
The rich losing. Something about, until I'm the rich person losing.
Yeah,
it makes me happy.
Elon Musk is the first guy in human history that lost $200 billion.
Whoa!
First dude in human history, recorded human history at least.
Holy shit.
Maybe there was some pharaoh who fucked up and invested in the wrong bricks or something to build his temple, but he's the first guy that lost $200 billion in net worth.
Holy shit.
Yeah, he's homeless now. He's fucked.
That would be an interesting study, the value of ancient fucking monarchies. What am I looking for here?
Like pharaohs?
Yeah,
like Egyptian.
Yeah, what was the net value of fucking?
The top dudes compared to the bottom dudes,
or even fucking Genghis Khan or something.
Yeah. We know who they say was the absolute richest of all of them, including ancient rulers and leaders, was Rockefeller, David Rockefeller. When he died in I forget what year he died, but when he died, his net worth was a little over 400 billion, and that was he was like way richer than like the richest guy now, and he died I think in the 30s. I want to say.
God damn.
I could be wrong about that, but yeah, he died he died with about a $400 billion net worth, like 80 years ago, 90 years ago. He had a funny quote when J.P. Morgan died, because when J.P. Morgan died, his net worth was like $3 billion, and David Rockefeller was like, "Oh, I didn't know he died poor." It's like, you man, motherfucker! What a dick!
Yeah,
because to him, $3 billion, it's like $3 billion's like, I mean, that's nothing, dude. That's pocket change for a guy with 400 billion.
God damn.
Yeah, that unbelievable. Unbelievable. Although I've heard people say that there are probably like Saudi, like oil, like barons that are more than likely trillionaires.
Yeah?
Yeah, but their wealth is so heavily dispersed into different places that it's so hard to calculate. But it's probably there are trillionaires out there. We just don't know about it.
Fuck.
You're not sitting next to one of them.
No, not you either. Fucking, what would you do? What would you do if he all of a sudden had seemingly infinite money?
I would give most of it away. I couldn't sleep at night with that much money. I could not. I don't think I could look at myself in the mirror with more than maybe 10 million.
Yeah.
I don't think I could exist with more than that much money. I wouldn't want it. It's too much.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest house, the nicest car, and you still got millions left over.
Yeah, I'd be happy living in apartments, like 2-bedroom apartments, the rest of my life. Like, I really don't care that much.
You like living with neighbors on the other side of a wall? I hate that shit.
Well, I'm kind of lucky now because my apartment's a standalone.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Yeah, so it's kind of cool in that way. Like, it's its own building, so I am kind of lucky in that way. That is true, though. Like. Yeah, the paper thin wall thing.
I've never had an apartment, but I've had roommates in a house, and even that was fucking annoying.
Yeah, I do like having my own building, but I don't care about like having an ostentatious space or having it be large and showy and stuff like that. I don't know, but also both my parents are very like non-materialistic people, so I think I just got it from them. But I like if you gave me $1 billion, which I assume is the fee for doing this podcast, I will. I would give most of it to. You know what I would do? I would find non-kill animal shelters and just start writing them checks. I got a DUI in 2017.
Okay.
And you got to, one of the things I had to do was like 40 or 50 hours of community service. And they let you choose from like a list of different like organizations you can go volunteer for. And one of them was a animal shelter, a non-kill one in Northport.
All right.
And I did that, and man, it just broke my heart to see these dogs. I love doing it because I love just like sneaking in the pens and just like petting them and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But if I had a lot of money, I would try to help out that like those kind of organizations.
Yeah, I worked my end of high school job was Pet Pal Animal Shelter. It's in St. Pete. No nonprofit, no kill. I worked there for like maybe a year and a half.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Only 14 hours a week. So
nice.
Yeah, I guess it was all right. It, like fit into my schedule.
Yeah, that's pretty tight. Do you like dogs?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Fuck cats though.
Yeah, I'm kind of a fuck cat guy. There's a shitload of cats. Like stray cats living here, and yeah, there's so many of them. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And you see like little ones popping up.
Yeah.
All over the place, so you know that they're breeding.
Multiplying.
Yeah, they're not spayed.
When I was a kid, my only really experiences with cats was my cousins had a cat who was not friendly. It was the do not pet that cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only other experience I had with cats was that I owned a sandbox, an outside sandbox. So yeah, a lot of kitty turds in that outside sandbox.
Yeah. They're like pillheads. They sleep all day and they'll try to cut you if you get close to them. They fucking I'm not a huge cat fan, but I do love animals, you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah, generally animals better than people for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Although I have to say, faith in humanity restored after having been in Vermont for a couple weeks, man. Like my girlfriend's dad moved up there. He has a house up there now.
Okay.
And the first day he moved in, there was a snowstorm. They got a couple feet of snow. And he's been in Florida for like 20 years, so he hasn't seen snow in a while. And he woke up the next morning, and he looks outside, and there's 2 dudes in his driveway. And he's like, what the fuck? And he goes outside, and he's like, what are you guys doing? And he's like, oh, we're just plowing your driveway for you.
Oh, what?
And he was like, what? He's like, yeah, we saw your license plate was from Florida, and we figured you didn't have like, snow plowing stuff, so we figured we'd take care of it for you. And he was like so confused. He like couldn't. He was, and he told me. He asked him, "Why are you doing that?"
Yeah,
because he couldn't just be like. He just was not used to that level of politeness and just unreciprocal human kindness.
Yeah,
like you're not asking for anything. You're just like, oh, I see you could use a hand. I'm gonna help you out.
Just people being nice for no fucking reason. What's up with that?
Yeah, it was in the little downtown area I went to. Like everybody was just holding the door open for each other, and like
I love holding the door open for people.
I do too. Like it's really like burnt into my brain of a thing to do. As is like saying please and thank you. Like that's the thing. Like especially my mom like burned that into my head. Like especially when you're dealing with service workers.
A lot of excuse me's. That's probably my most said phrase, especially walking through grocery stores all day. Every time I at all block someone's line of sight to what they're inspecting, what fucking item they're looking for.
I have my own.
Excuse me.
My version of excuse me is get out of my way, bitch.
That's a good one.
It's very similar. It has a very similar effect.
Yeah.
You know, they get out of your way.
Get out of my way, bitch, or pardon.
Yeah.
Pardon's a good one.
Pardon me, bitch. Please. Por favor, monsieur. But it was very nice being up there and just seeing like just the difference in how people are up there down here. I don't know what it is, but people were just so much more polite up there. It was really, really nice.
Yeah. Are you wanting to talk about your upcoming move at all, or is that one of the 8 subjects?
No, my lease is up in May.
Okay.
And I'm looking for a roommate now. So I'm going to try to get a roommate until May.
Okay.
That's like my goal for now. And I'm probably going to move up there when my lease is up, or when I save up enough money to buy a new car, because I need a new car before I go up there, because my girlfriend's up there, and I've had more than one person tell me that like my style of comedy, it's just blue comedy is like way more suited for like New England-y, New York area than it is down here.
Yeah.
Like how we were talking, just before when we were outside, how like mainstream comedy club audiences in Florida sort of tilt older, kind of boomer Gen X, and you kind of have to skew yourself, your comedy to fit that demographic, which essentially means you have to be clean. And I'm just kind of not willing to do that. Because I think that that's how you become a bitter comic,
Fucking not loving what you do, but having to do it over and over.
Yep.
Say things you don't want to say over and over.
I heard a guy, I won't say his name, but a guy that I've known for years, who went through this transition recently, he features a lot, and he was not at all clean when he started. Like he was really raunchy and fucked up. And he said, like, the more I got introduced and filtered through the club system, one day I just kind of found myself like, oh my God, I'm a clean comic. And to me, that's kind of like that puts you on that track of like where you're one day you find yourself, you're a headliner and you're doing an hour, every weekend, at these clubs of material that you're not that passionate about, but it fulfills the requirements of the job, and I would just rather have a regular job than do that. You know what I mean?
True that. I'll fucking keep delivering groceries if it means I get to fucking say what I want to say.
That's always been my thought.
Yeah.
Because I love fucking getting on stage over there at Pink.
Yeah.
In front of like 12 people if I can do what I want to do.
12 if you're lucky.
12 is like Madison Square Garden at that place. Yeah. Last time I was on stage there before I left, I almost got the shit kicked out of me by two black dudes.
Yeah?
For some slavery jokes.
Oh, did you go into the Niger?
No.
Joke?
It was the joke I have about my girlfriend being into master slave sex play in the bedroom.
Yeah.
And there were these two black dudes in the front that were like, nope. And I kept doing the joke, and they were just getting like furious about it.
Even though you're, God damn it, I feel like there's a lot of people that once they hear a certain keyword, they take their own train of thought and run with it, and they can't then reel back and be like, oh, what's this guy actually saying?
The emotion is too strong for them to have that rational thought. That analysis, because the feeling is too strong. But I also I get it too. Like I have some pretty offensive jokes, and I get when people are offended. I don't really care. Like I get it. Like the analogy I've made is like I've seen plenty of movies and heard plenty of lyrics, like musical lyrics that have offended me and made me cringe.
Yeah,
I totally get it when if I say a joke and somebody gets upset by it, I have empathy for that person. I'm not a comic who's like, oh, well, you don't understand what I'm doing. You should get on board. It's like, if you don't like it, you don't like it. That's cool. I don't care. It's fine. I mean, shut the fuck up about it, but
let me finish my thought at least.
Yeah, like let me go outside or something, but I respect the feeling you have. It's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, fucking I kind of walked somebody at LOL once, but
nice.
Yeah.
How come?
It was this deaf lady. I don't know if you remember her.
You walked a deaf lady.
I walked a deaf lady.
Holy shit.
So whatever the fuck I was saying was bad if the deaf lady was offended. I think she thought I was making fun of her, but she was wasted. So she didn't know what was going on. I was just like trying to address her, and she immediately jumped to thinking I was making fun of her. But she was wasted and loud.
That's so funny.
Loud, obnoxious, deaf lady.
That's so funny, dude. Oh my God, you walked a deaf lady at LOL.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Oh, I walked a woman at a bar in Orlando once. She was sitting at the bar with a little bag that had like a dog in it. It was like a little kennel bag. She had a little dog in it. And I did a joke about having sex with a dog.
Yeah.
And she got up and she pointed at me and she said, "That's not okay. You can't say that. That's not allowed." And then she just got up and left. So it is amazing how sensitive people get about stand-up comedy. But that's I forget who said this. Maybe it was like Joe Rogan or something. Or I think it was Ari Shaffir. He said it's like the fact that people have those kind of reactions, even though it kind of sucks in the moment or whatever, and it can like fuck a show up, it's indicative of the fact that comedy is like dangerous again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I started watching comedy in like the 90s and the 2000s when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And comedy did not at all feel like it had an element of like danger to it. Maybe a little bit with like Chappelle and like his first specials, but like for the most part, comedy felt like very sterile in terms of like it being a dangerous art form the way that it is now.
At least what was being put out on like the major platforms.
Yeah,
like
big time.
HBO wasn't going to put on something risky.
Yeah.
Fucking Comedy Central half hours were all like pretty squeaky clean.
Yeah, they were all like pretty sanitary.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so here Alex takes a phone call from his mother, but we're just gonna jump right back to it. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Sweet woman.
Yeah?
Yeah.
My mom's pretty sweet too. Both my parents.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You get along with your parents?
Yeah, for the most part.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm one of like the only comics I know that like my parents never got divorced. They're still together. Like I have a good relationship with them and stuff.
Mine too.
Nice. Hell yeah, dude. It's fucking parents still together.
Unbroken homes.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. We're part of the 1% of comedians that fucking aren't from broken homes.
Yeah.
I do think that sometimes, like, would I be better at comedy if I got molested or something? If, like, my parents got divorced when I was a kid? Would that
constant
like add
yelling in the house would have helped a little?
Yeah, maybe that would have like given me a little bit of edge or something. But I think what did it for me was all the acid I took when I was like 18, 19 years old that like fucking flipped me.
Yeah.
Into
You think you're a totally different person than who you would have been?
It's hard to say. I think so. I think it was the bad acid trips.
Oh yeah.
That like, because I've had 3 that were like awful, like 16-hour panic attacks.
Oh.
And those were like horrible experiences. So I kind of got molested in my own mind a little bit.
Yeah. You touched yourself in ways you shouldn't have.
Yes, but they all had the exact same characteristic.
Really?
I was alone. Taking acid alone. Bad idea for everybody watching. Don't take psychedelic drugs alone.
Really?
Yeah, the only bad trips I've ever had have been alone.
Okay, because I've had bad trips around people for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I guess I haven't done enough solo trips. I've done mushrooms, like a small amount of mushrooms, a couple times alone. Never a solo acid trip.
It's a lot. It's a little too much.
Yeah.
I feel like it helped a lot with creativity for sure.
Yeah?
Yeah. I definitely helped. Like it made me think a lot differently too. In that way.
I noodled around on the piano last time I was on shrooms.
Yeah?
And that was pretty nice. That's the first time I've actually tried to do something creative on psychedelics.
Nice.
Yeah.
The first time I ever learned how to shred on a guitar was on mushrooms.
Really?
Yeah. I wouldn't say it was like sweet picking, but like just playing like really fast kind of like shredding 80s kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I was on a really heavy dose of mushrooms at a friend of mine's house in his basement. I was just sitting on an amp playing, tripping balls, and I just figured out like the movements in my fingers to be able to play like really cool like fast stuff. There is something about it that just it just opens you up to being able to think differently. That's where Steve Jobs got that fucking quote from Apple for the advertising slogan that they had in the 90s, think differently.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It
was from his acid
psychedelic
trip. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he took acid. It didn't make him a good person, but he did come up with some interesting innovations.
Got a lot of shit done.
Yeah. Yeah, that Bill Burr joke about it is so funny where he's like, is he really that impressive or did he just tell a bunch of nerds to like get my music collection on this iPad, get on it. And like it's such it's a very funny characterization of like what Steve Jobs did. He was basically just like a manager as opposed to an innovator.
Yeah, I've heard that about it. I remember that bit now.
I should try heroin. I feel like that would help with
Yeah, I think
creativity.
That'll up your comedy game. Little heroin.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I tried Oxycontin once when I was like 18, and I just felt tired. It didn't do anything to me, and I never fucked with like downers or anything like that ever again. I did cocaine once, and that also I didn't like it that much. It was all right.
Not what all the hype is.
Like, that's exactly how I felt. I felt monumentally let down. I thought it was going to be like a scene in like that movie Blow or something where I was going to be like face melting, like desperate to get another line, like addicted immediately kind of a thing. But I just felt like I drank 4 coffees.
Yeah, I usually say something like maybe a pot of coffee. If it's shitty coffee. A pot of like shitty coffee is equal to that $20 of cocaine.
I remember the first thing I thought, like after I did like 2 or 3 lines, was like, I would never pay for this. Like I would never spend money on this. Like it is not worth like money for.
No.
Although I have heard that like crack is awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I have where we can get some? Let's fucking give it a try.
There's that dude right over there. He sells crack.
Perfect.
I don't know. I don't know if Lakeland has like a fucked up drug problem or what. Like,
I mean, my whole
your hold?
My whole. Just putting that out there. Just wanted to say my whole. I was gonna say my whole childhood, but probably not actual childhood. My whole teen years and 20s. I feel like the joke was meth heads in Polk County. I don't know if that's still the vibe around here.
I don't know. Maybe I don't get out enough, but I don't see. Well, now that I'm thinking about it, I do see some like homeless tweakers, like walking around a lot. But it's like you don't know if it's like mental illness or drugs or a combination of both of those things. I started getting into soft white underbelly recently. Do you know that?
Yeah. There's a particular guy on there I really enjoyed. It was like 4 or 5 interviews of this recovering heroin addict, I guess. I forget his name. But it was a really good one.
That's a very interesting study of mental illness and homelessness and drug addiction. I mean, it's heartbreaking, dude. It's fucking. I cannot imagine living under those circumstances. Of like smoking crack and like hearing voices in your head and not eating food for days. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it is an interesting concept. Like someone just having a genuine conversation with these people.
Yeah.
Like how often do they get to have that?
And every single one I've seen of people that end up on Skid Row where that dude does the majority of his interviews, they all got molested.
Yeah.
All of them got when they were like 5.
Damn.
And it just fucks them up forever. It's just like sends them into this like spiral of like self-hate, and it destroys your self-worth right off the jump of life, and they spend the rest of their life like smoking cat shit off of like a bubblegum wrapper to like forget the trauma that they went through. But it is very interesting.
What's your thoughts on free will? Do we have it?
I read that book by Sam Harris.
Okay.
Free Will.
Oh, I guess I'll have to look it up.
It's interesting. It's a mindfuck.
Yeah?
It is a mindfuck. Yeah, it was very convincing to me, and he argues against free will. Do you know Sam Harris? You ever?
No, I've seen his name on like YouTube videos.
He was like, I was a fan of his, like, I guess it would have been like 16 years ago. He was part of like the new atheist movement of guys like Richard Dawkins and Christopher Hitchens, Daniel Dennett, who wrote books in the mid-2000s, like God Delusion, God is Not Great, all this kind of thing. And he's a neuroscientist, and he wrote a book a couple years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, called Free Will, arguing that free will is essentially illusory. We don't have free will. In that, for instance, like the words I'm saying right now, it feels as though I'm authoring these words, but the synapses and neurotransmitters are firing off in my brain before I quote unquote decide to say them. The feeling of having a decision of saying the words is like sort of like secondary authorship to the neurochemistry that's firing off.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that made any sense.
Oh yeah, I've heard that concept before, and that's sometimes I kind of feel that way.
Yeah, me too. But there's other times where I don't know. I mean, the book was convincing to me, certainly at the time when I read it, I feel like it's one of those things like, you read a book and it makes a lot of sense, and then time goes by and it kind of makes like less and less sense the further away from it you get, because you're not as immersed in the details of it. But I'd like to think we do. I don't think we do. Would be my best estimation.
Yeah, I'm right about there. It feels like free will, but maybe it's not really free will.
Yeah. I mean, it's his argument is a lot of it is like, determined by genetics and the effect of environment on your genetics, and that things like language and even thoughts that you have are further down the chain from when the initial quote unquote decision is made, which would be like one synapse communicating with another, and you don't have the free will to say, okay, cerebral cortex, fire a message to the substantia nigra to create more dopamine in this area of the brain. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't tell your liver to, hey, liver, detox my bloodstream better for me, or
that'd be a handy trick.
That would be very helpful, I think, for a lot of people. So, and your brain being an organ, you have no control over it, but your brain is responsible for all of these functions, like speaking and all these things. So I tend to think probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I would have to say probably not. And it's a terrifying notion. I remember I remember after reading that book being genuinely freaked out.
Yeah.
Like genuinely.
All right, I'll have to fucking read this book.
It made me feel weird in my own head. It made me feel very strange. I was like, oh fuck, well, maybe I'm not the author of all of the decisions I'm making. So then I went and killed a homeless guy. And I was like, what? I can't, what?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
I didn't do shit. I didn't do anything. What do you want?
I think for a lot of people that thought would be really demotivating.
Yeah.
Like, people would lose steam. I mean, it's the same kind of people who, have to believe in an afterlife to keep them going.
Yeah, I was literally going to say, it's like a lot of people believe in God or religion or an afterlife to keep them away from the idea that life is very fleeting. We're here and we're gone very, very quickly. It doesn't have any life has no objective meaning, in my opinion. It's all created in subjective meaning. Like, you can create your own meaning. You can also not. That's kind of the scarier thing. It's like you can just sleep under a bridge forever. Yeah. Like, you can do that. There is no...
I mean, I feel that's a lot of people in just following the modern system right now.
Yeah.
They're not creating any sort of meaning in their own life. They're just fucking ordering the shit off the app. And fucking waking up, going to their fucking bullshit task, whatever job they're doing.
Yep. I mean, I work for a scam CBD company.
Yeah, a scam CBD.
Oh, yeah. It's super scammy. Yeah, it's like, I feel bad. Like,
what kind of... Wait, No, you don't currently work there.
I do, yeah. I work there today, yeah.
Oh shit. Okay. What kind of scams? How are they scamming people?
Well, they fuck people with a subscription service.
Oh, okay.
It's like their online POS is very like confusing. Yeah. Like, I've looked at it. It's really like they're I don't know, software engineers or whatever created it in a way so that like you think you're buying like one bottle of like CBD gummies once, but you actually signed up for 5 and it's recurring for 4 months.
Yeah.
And you think you spent $60 on one bottle, but you're being billed $200 for 5, and you're being billed $200 for 4 months. And people will like call up and complain, like, what the fuck? You stop this bullshit. And they're like, oh, we can't do it. And they'll just milk your credit card for like 4 or 5 months of $200.
Yeah.
And it's like, Because to me, like, at best, you're fucking some, fucking upper middle class housewife in Beverly Hills out of $1,000 she's never gonna miss. At worst, you're stealing $1,000 from some old couple on a fixed income that like cannot afford to have that money taken from them.
Just ruined their year.
Yeah, and it makes me feel bad, but they pay me really good. So like, I mean, really good relative to like $10 an hour. You know what I mean? So it does make me see how people like. Because I used to think like, how could you work at Google or Lockheed Martin? And I'm like, oh, paycheck.
Yeah,
paycheck. Yeah.
Fucking money solves a lot of issues.
Give them $150,000 a year. They'll make weapons to sell to Saudi Arabia so they can bomb Houthis in Yemen. Sure. Yep. Why not?
Oh. Fuck.
Yeah, it sucks, dude. It's just the system frustrates me like to no end. That's one thing I fucked up. Like, I took a lot of acid in my late teens and early 20s and read a lot of like Noam Chomsky and like Edward Herman and Michael Hudson, Steve Keen, Howard Zinn, like all these guys.
Damn, you're a well-read dude. I just started reading, like,
a
couple years ago. Yeah.
Anything good?
A couple things, Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules.
Oh, nice, dude. Are you fucking standing up straight, dude?
I try.
Are you petting cats?
No.
Is that required? He said you gotta pet stray cats. Are you leaving skateboarding children alone?
Yes.
That's one of the rules. He said do not interrupt children while they're skateboarding.
Okay. Well, I didn't remember that, but I've been doing that. Mainly because I don't want to get my ass kicked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And from there, I read like the Goggins book, Jocko Willink.
Yeah.
Couple other kind of just general, like, get yourself motivated.
Yeah, like self-help, but kind of more geared to like the 21st century and like all the nonsense we have to jump through these days, which I get. It is fucking tough being a human being in 21st century America. Like the rat race here is just, oh my God. I don't know how people don't do like mass shootings all the time. Like, I don't know.
For real.
Like there's like 500 a year. I don't know how there aren't like 20,000. Like, like it's the amount of stress that like people have to live under. Like I was reading an article, I think last night, that there was a woman, a 35-year-old woman that drove her car that had her 2 kids in it into Lake Wales.
Oh shit.
And they all died.
Whoa. This was recent?
Yeah, this article, I read it last night, and it was probably from this happened maybe the day before, maybe earlier in the week. Wow. And I read it, and I was like, yeah, I get it. Yeah.
Somebody fucking snapped.
Just can't do it. Just, behind on the bills. Yeah. The credit cards at 32%.
No light at the end of the tunnel.
No light at the end of the tunnel.
And they
probably
believe in an afterlife. And they think whatever's next is gotta be better.
Oh God, it's so fucking bleak, dude. It's so fucking bleak.
Yeah.
And fucking I've ranted about this on stage before, but the guy who founded in 1987, and he's the CEO currently of the largest private equity firm in the world, Blackstone. This guy, Steven Schwartzman, he made $1.2 billion in 2021, which is $100 million a month.
Oh,
dude, those guys are they're the parasites. Okay. And all they do is I read a story about this. Last year they went on a buying spree of trailer parks.
Oh,
it's like real disgusting shit. Yeah, they will buy trailer parks, jack the rents up, and just squeeze poor people for all that they can get.
That's like the I don't know, just a heinous fucking purposeful gentrification.
Yeah,
it's fuck these poor people over.
Yeah, dude, that's the battle, man. That's the battle. Rich v poor. That's the eternal battle. But yeah, when I was, I kind of fucked myself by like reading a lot.
Yeah.
When I was younger and doing a lot of psychedelics, because I internalized it, very heavily as opposed to just kind of reading it and being like, oh, that's interesting, and then moving on. It really like hit me like a religious, I like a religious fervor, like reading shit, like Noam Chomsky and Edward Herman's book, Manufacturing Consent, is like one of the best books I've ever read. And it's the original fake news book. They published it in 1988, and it's all about how like the mainstream media it's basically just like state propaganda.
All right, so right here, the audio cut out. I changed some batteries, and we jump in roughly in the same train of thought. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Where do you think it's all heading? The future.
Neo-feudal techno-serfdom.
All right.
I think it's kind of like a feudal system. I think it's like it's like that you'll own at the end of the day that you'll own nothing, and you'll have to rent everything. It's like how like these, like, it's like Blackstone and like these big firms. BlackRock is even more rapacious. They're buying up houses all over the place, and they are waiting. They cannot wait for like a big recession to come. Because once the housing prices crash, they can go in with all this money they have and buy them up, and then you have to go back to them to rent these houses. So I think it's heading to a place where every little good, cars, homes, any service, you're going to have to rent, and you'll own nothing. I think that's probably where it's going to end up.
You think it's going to be at some point more like corporate based rather than fucking country based?
Yeah, I think it already is. Yeah. I think that I think our government was bought and sold 40 years ago. 45 years ago. There's a great documentary, Hypernormalization, by this guy Adam Curtis, came out in 2017, I think, and he puts it the moment, the truly the moment when governments and specifically New York City's government was taken over by the banks, and he puts it to August 1975. And New York City at the time was going through a terrible recession. And what these cities would do to fund, paying teachers and tax collectors and policemen and stuff, is they would sell municipal bonds to the banks. They would sell their debts to the banks. The banks would give them money. They would take the money and give it to the people they needed to fund services in the city. And for the first time ever in August 1975, the banks said, no, we're not going to buy your bonds unless you let us run the city. And the municipality was like, wait, what are you talking about? Like, we're in charge. And they're like, look, motherfucker, you guys are in a tough spot. You're in a recessionary spiral. You need our money. If you want us to buy your bonds, we're going to control shit. Damn. So Wall Street's going to run New York City. And they're like, all right. And Adam Curtis, puts it to that very month in that year where the banks took over the functions of municipal governance. So I think those motherfuckers took over a long time ago. And politics now is like theater. Yeah. It's like kabuki theater. Yeah. Damn. It doesn't really matter. The hedge funds, the private equity firms, the asset managers, the investment banks, they run the show. Those guys run everything. They bet on Republicans and Democrats. Like, Elon Musk gives money to both Republican candidates and Democratic candidates. They don't get elected unless they promise to do what these people want. And that's why things just keep getting worse, and they'll only keep getting worse. And that's why you'll see people like Nick Fuentes. You ever heard of him?
No, not familiar.
Oh God! Well,
I stay pretty ignorant to what's happening in the world. It's easier that way.
Yeah, he's like he's kind of the worst. He's like a 25-year-old kid who's like a straight out Nazi.
Oh,
like he's like we need to stop allowing women to go to school. Black people need to leave the country. Jews are horrible. Like he just says the quiet part out loud.
Holy shit!
Where most people who are far right kind of play footsie with those ideas, he just says it. And I think it's going to go more in that direction when people become even more like materially and economically deprived. They're not going to know what's going on or what to do about it. So they're going to be like, it's fucking immigrants and fucking it's Jews.
It'll be real easy to fucking direct us in those into hatred.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, very much so. I mean, that's what preceded the Holocaust was the massive indebtedness because of the Marshall Plan of Germany and hyperinflation and extreme material precarity on the part of average Germans. So I think it's gonna get real bad, and I've heard some like far right rhetoric around like trans people and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And like, Matt Walsh, I don't know if you know these people good. Don't familiarize yourself with them. They're awful. But some of their rhetoric it reminds me of some of like the radio announcers that were on the air that preceded the Rwandan genocide in 1994, where they're like, well, you need to cut down the cockroaches and destroy the contagion and like all of this like a horrible rhetoric where you're like, oh my God. And I've heard that kind of shit coming from like, these types of people. And I'm like, okay, there's going to be violence at some point. I think that's probably inevitable.
You think we'll ever be beyond violence as a species?
We'd have to control greed first, I think.
That's a tough one.
I think we would have to control humans' desire to have more than what you need. And not even more than what you need, more than what you could possibly use in 10,000 lifetimes. Like these guys, like Steven Schwartzman making $1.2 billion in a year. It's like you have to tamp that shit down in human brains to eradicate violence, I think, because that's what a lot of these wars through history are. It's just one group of people accumulates so much, and other people are like, "Hey, what the fuck? My kids are dying because they can't get water." What I mean, what? And you have 8 castles. Like, what the fuck? So I'll tell you this: not in our lifetime.
Yeah,
not in our fucking lifetime.
Sounds pretty accurate.
Yeah. But that's why I do comedy, because it's like I want to be as fucking detached from this stupid fucking system as possible.
Fuck yeah.
And just being on stage saying, talking shit to me is like a nice way to detach from this bleak rat race that we're all in,
Yeah.
And
I don't know, it feels like actually doing something.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like being part of the system.
Yeah.
Even though then we're encouraged to be clean and join the comedy system.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what that is. That's what it feels like to me.
Yeah.
Is asking you to compromise in the same way that a job is asking you to compromise by being bored as shit and making less than you need to live and doing repetitive bullshit over and over again. And that's why it's like I'm just not going to write clean jokes unless they come to me naturally.
Yeah.
Unless a nice clean joke just comes to me while I'm writing. So far it hasn't. I just haven't had one pop up.
It's like fucking, I don't know, less than 10% of my material is definitely less than 10% is TV clean.
I would say I probably have a similar percentage is probably like that. I remember I bombed so bad the first time I featured at LOL. So horribly.
Was that the time Mike had to come up after you?
Yep, I was supposed to do 25. He gave me the light at 10 because I was doing so poorly. And he went up and reset the room by doing 15 and just be like, okay, folks, so let's forget about that. And I'm going to do some And then he took me outside afterwards, and he fucking beat the shit out of me. No, he was very cool. Yeah,
serious shit.
He was super cool. He wasn't like pissed or anything, but he was like, all right, so just a little word of advice. How about instead of saying I fucked my dog, you say you made love to an animal? How about that? Actually, you know what? Scratch that. How about instead of all that, you say you have a joke about taking your dog for a walk? How about that? Let's do something like that. And he was like, and I have a joke about Jesus on like being on the cross and shit.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, yeah, don't do that. I wouldn't do that joke anymore.
Definitely not for the LOL audience.
No, I did that joke and they hated it. Oh my God, they hated that joke. But and I love Mike. He's a great dude.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember when he was talking to me outside after that set, my heart like dropped because it made me realize truly in that moment, I was like, oh, this is how comics become clean.
Oh.
This is that realization moment, because most like smart comics, like if I was a smart comic, I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, I'll write a joke about taking my dog for a walk and I won't do that Jesus joke ever again. Like if I was a smart comic, that's what I would do.
Is that what smart comics do?
I guess economically smart, in terms of like making money and that kind of a thing.
People in it to
careerists.
Yeah,
like people who are in it to like But it did make me realize like, oh, this is how that happens. Like comedians who are blue, somewhere along the line, a booker, a manager pulls them aside and goes, hey, that thing about fucking your grandma, don't do that. That thing about stepping on a cat's head and watching it explode, nah, don't do that. Oh, okay, yeah, no, I'll drop that. Sure, anything to get to the next level, anything. And I'm just, and of course I was like, nodding along politely, and I was like, oh, sure, yeah, definitely. But in my head, I was like, I love those jokes. Those are two of my favorite jokes. Like I got to keep doing them. I love them. They make me laugh. And when they hit, you know what I mean? Like they get like some of my favorite reactions of any of the jokes that I have when they hit in front of the right crowd, And I'm just not willing to not do them,
I commend you for that. I think I'm going to stick onto that same path. I'll say exactly what I want to say. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, fuck it.
Yeah.
Where do you want to be in 5 years? Comedy or otherwise?
I mean, I'd like to be like a working comic. Like I'd like to be like featuring like 30 weekends out of the year, which is a lot. It's ambitious, but I'm 4 years in now. I feel like I've grown a fuckload as a comic from when I started. And I feel like another 5 years, if I keep on the same path, I think I could get to that point, but I do also realize that I need to, it's another thing I realized when Mike was talking to me outside. I was like, oh, I'm not going to, at least in Florida, I'm not going to be able to come up through the club system.
No.
Because of the audience.
I think the best bet, and it's what I'm kind of banking on at this point, is some real cool fucking headliner finds me. It was like, I want that dude to be my feature.
Yeah.
That's probably the only real bet I have.
Well, and developing your own audience through things like social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The amount of comedians I've seen blow up through TikTok is like crazy. And you can do whatever you want when you have your own audience. That's
wouldn't
like,
that be nice?
Oh, dude, it'd
Let's
be fucking
just talk
amazing.
about my asshole for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah. That would be fucking amazing. But I had a little taste of like a headliner asking me to do a couple shows with them. I did a few shows with Johnny B.
Oh, nice.
This last summer. I did 2 guest spots and a hosting spot for him. And it started when we just happened to be booked on the same show at this fucking Italian restaurant down in Port Charlotte.
Oh yeah.
And he was headlining, I was featuring, and I went, real blue, and he really liked that I was really blue. And he's like, hey, do you want to, come do this show at O'Brien's and then do this show? And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, absolutely.
That's it. It can happen. That's proof.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And if you listen, and I listen to way too many podcasts, but like listening to a lot of like New York comedians, like they'll Mark Norman has a great story. That guy got real fucking close. Mark Norman has a great story like that where he kind of got found, where he was doing just like a regular like weekday spot at the Comedy Cellar.
Yeah.
And he said he was bombing, like his set was going really bad, and his last joke, like the last joke he did, fucking hit, crushed. And right as he like was starting it, Amy Schumer was walking downstairs.
Oh, shit.
And like right as it was like crushing, she was watching him. And as he got off stage, she came up to him and she's like, hey, do you want to open for me on the road? And he was like, sure. And he said the next day he was on a private jet opening for her at stadiums. So like show business does have that sort of element of randomness.
Yeah, it's the Wild West out there. Anything can happen.
Exactly. You never know.
Apparently Tom Papa had Stavros Helkias opening for him for like years.
Nice. Bobby Kelly? Was it Bobby Kelly? I know he opened for Bobby Kelly for a long time.
No, Stavros was also working with Bobby Kelly.
Okay,
but apparently he worked with Tom Papa on a regular basis.
No shit.
And what a fucking juxtaposition between, the nice clean dad and the fucking I eat pussy, I'm fat and bald dude. But Tom Papa liked him and wanted him to open. So fucking.
There is I've heard comedians say that like a huge part of like what makes a headliner want to take you out on the road is like, are you a cool hang?
Yeah.
Like, are you fun to be around like all day, while you're waiting to go to the show? Are you cool to hang out with in the car while we're driving from New York to Arizona to do a fucking show or whatever it is? So there is something to be said about like, are you just like a chill hang,
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of it too.
Yeah, I need to get better at that. Just actually like being part of the hang. First I need to get on shows with some people that are worth me purposefully showing that I'm a cool hang.
Yeah.
Now this all seems like a ploy. Yeah.
I know. It sucks because there is this like falseness to the hang because part of it is self-serving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it does take a bit of the authenticity out of it because it's like, is this person like really cool or are they acting this way because they're positioning themselves in a way so that they can get a gig? It's so...
Dude, I feel like I've done that with a lot of my life.
Yeah, dude,
like,
me too,
just
man.
Out in public, at jobs, it's, very rarely have I felt like I've, I don't know, just felt open to being myself rather than how do I want these people to perceive me?
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
I just hate that shit so much.
I know. It's like everything's a job interview. It's like everything's a fucking, every interaction is like a job interview. You have to put on this fucking falseness. But again, that's why I love doing comedy and being on stage because like when I'm doing my jokes, I'm not being false at all. Like I'm saying exactly what I want to say. Yeah. And there's no pretense about it. I'm not angling for anything. I'm being exactly who I want to be. And for me, doing that is such a rare opportunity in this fucking stupid life to be authentic.
Yeah.
I just couldn't give that up to get to the quote unquote next level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I just couldn't give that up and like write clean jokes to get to the next level because I'm giving up that little slice of authenticity that I have in my life. For me, that's like so important to have this little fucking space over at fucking Pink on that stage where I can just be a fucking asshole for 10 minutes and feel like a real person for 10 minutes a week or whatever it is,
Well, it's a beautiful thing, stand-up comedy.
It's dope, man. It's the favorite thing I've ever done. I love it, man.
Fuck yeah. Well, that seems like a good spot to end this.
Hell yeah, dude.
A nice fucking, feel good moment for the kids.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah.
Fucking Be poor, but do what you want.
Yeah, man. Just fucking be yourself. You'll be homeless, but you'll be happy until you're 40, and then you'll wish, fuck, I should have been a stockbroker. Shit.
Yep. Fuck it. Well, thanks, dude.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Hell yeah. Hey, gluttons. Check out what's going on. Like and subscribe. Check out what Alex has going on. Alex Boyce. He's on social media, at least Facebook. AlexBoyce. Check him out. He's the one holding a microphone. Check out Half Cash Bowl and everything we have going on. Who's we? I don't know. I said we, but it's only I. HalfCashBowl.com. Half Cash Bowl Records on Instagram. Half Cash Bowl on TikTok. Bye.